So I have extra dogs around the house today, just dog sitting, and they've been really good, but they're around. We're going to want a strap today, so anything that is vaguely strap-like that you could use, something fabric, a tie, a belt, anything that you can use to grab on. And then you will want to, you might want to have a block. Let's see. It's debating how I was going to put that together. We'll see how that feels. And I'm sitting up on a cushion, just something to make things a little bit more relaxed in the pelvic area. We're gonna work into some heart opening today. I'm also gonna do some work in hips. As we move into some of these postures, like there are a lot of modifications for things. Like, yes, there are modifications for poses because we want to make sure that these experiences are accessible for everybody, but it's not like you're doing less of an expression of the pose just because you're doing the modifications. Modifications and adaptations of poses are really giving us the opportunity to have the same function that this other pose has, because the function is like the purpose of us doing it, right? I've been chatting a lot with folks, and it's been coming up recently several times that, you know, we say a lot of us might need to be making more money to feel like a lot of our needs are met, but we don't really want like the money, because none of us are Donald Duck's uncle and just wants to go like dive into the pool of it, right? Like the money is not the thing that brings me joy and brings me stability. It's knowing that I have my rent paid and have health insurance, and, you know, being able to save and plan and go and do something fun, which requires that thing. So it's not about like, I want to have a lot of money. And yoga is not about, I want to do all the poses. Yoga is about, I want to develop and further the benefits that these poses and these practices bring to me. There are different times where it's most appropriate to bend or to straighten the leg, and you think about what's the purpose there. Am I trying to strengthen something, or am I trying to allow more space for flexibility to happen? And my teacher often says, you know, we don't meditate to become good at breathing. We don't meditate to get good at saying Om and trying to clear our head. We meditate so that we can cultivate a familiarity with being in a place where we find returning to that ease and that sense of connection to be a little bit easier. We're so familiar with it that we can come back there when we really need it. We meditate for the other 23 to something hours of the day, right? And it's the same thing with the yoga practice. We do the yoga practice not so that you have an immaculate dancer's pose when we get towards the peak of our practice today, but so that we have this expansion and we have this strengthening and this awareness of being in our body as another tool of mindfulness and connection. So let's begin. We'll start with face brushing. Face brushing. Index finger and thumb together. Go ahead and start at the center of your forehead and brush outwards towards your temples a few times. And then starting at the sides of your nose, brushing out to your temples along your cheekbones. And going from your temples down to your chin along your jawline. And the sides of your nose down to your chin along your laugh lines. And massaging underneath and behind your ears where you find the soft spot and then the bony spot from where we lift up. And it's not about, you know, having this specific need to lift up the ears. It's about finding that space, helping to release some tension that builds up and accumulates around the neck and the spine and the human body itself. And trying to keep that lift as you relax your hands down into your lap. As you build up the steady flow of breath that will take you throughout practice, Consider that phrase from my teacher. We don't meditate to get good at breathing. Have these breathing exercises and these mindfulness exercises so that we instill a sense of connection and of presence. So that's the skill we take with us throughout the rest of our days. Next time you breathe in nice and deep through your nose, big exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. For 3 ohms. Just to open your eyes, if you are seated in a chair, just widen your knees out a little bit and we'll take the rest of these movements that way. If you are on your seat down here, take your right leg and extend it out just to a degree that's comfortable to you. And start to flex your foot. And depending on how your leg is feeling, you may straighten it if you can get that action into it. If it's not feeling like that's worthwhile or easy in your body, we'll leave the leg straight out of it for this first variation. So keep the leg bent or straight, make a decision, stick with it, and then slide your right hand down. Do keep that foot flexed, and then reach your left arm up and over. Get the backs of the ears out of your shoulders, so the spine is long. And I want to create as much space in between my hip and my hand as possible. So I'm really dropping that left hip down. And it's honestly kind of hard to keep this leg straight. So if you notice that you lose it every so often, try to bring it back. Big breath in. Breathing out. And then come on up. You're going to take your left hand behind your back. We're going to go in a little bit of a side bend again. Use this right hand to support you, and then turn your shoulder back. Go ahead and look upwards. Notice if your shoulder has a tendency to dip forward, even though you're trying to open your chest. Can you roll the collarbone more open to open the chest? I like to push the back of my hand into the small of my back to help open that space up. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then relax that. We're going to come over towards the other side, so switch your legs out. We will switch it back again in a moment. When I've got left leg out here, trying to make the leg straight if that's going to be reasonable, but this is the one you can kind of decide for yourself on. Slide the left hand down and then reach the right arm up and out. Push down into your right hip. Ears out of the shoulders, inner armpit softens on that right arm. Take 2 more deep breaths. Lift yourself up. I'm going to take your right hand behind your back, open that collarbone. Go ahead and come down to the side bend a little bit. Use this hand for support, and then open that right collarbone. Oh, yes. Nice. Breath in. Breath out. Release that, come on up, and we're gonna switch the legs out again. So you're gonna take your right leg out towards the side, grab your strap. You wanna loop the strap around bottom of your right foot. And if you're seated, you can take the strap out, the leg out in front of you like so as well. So the leg is extended, you're gonna wrap the fingertips around the strap, and then you're gonna make this leg as straight as you can. You wanna think of pushing the foot out into the strap and then lifting up from right behind your ears. There's a little bit of a twist going on. You've got the legs out wide like this. If you really wanted to, you could pull yourself forward, heart towards your toes. Notice if the legs stayed straight. Notice if you're still breathing. Breathing in and out. And release that. Release your strap so you can switch everything over towards the other side. You're going to take the left leg out. Loop that strap around the bottom of your foot. Wrap the strap around your hands. Straighten the leg. Lift your chest. Maybe start drawing your chest further towards your foot, but you're pushing the foot out into the straight. You see how that was different? Like I have the leg kind of sort of straight, and then there's that action right there. And always going slow into any of those spaces just to make sure that things are not going to be too jarred and traumatized by a forceful move into a place we're not ready for. One more exhale. And then relax that. Go ahead and bring both legs to a place that is comfortable to you. So it's either both legs out or both legs back in. And then you're going to take the strap behind your back. Now hold on to it with your hands. You're going to take the hands about like a good distance wider than my hips here, right? And then I'm going to take the strap and I'm just going to reach it back behind, lifting my heart up and forward. So just reaching this back in the air. Elbows can be bent. Just pressing that strap back and pressing the heart forward. 2 more breaths. Exhaling, and then relax. Chest and the strap, we're going to come down onto our bellies. Is that it? Yes, we'll go onto our bellies here. So set yourself off to the side. If you've been sitting up on anything, then move it out of your way. And then I will meet you laying flat down. And set yourself up so you've got your hands underneath your head. Just resting your forehead or a cheek. Then we're going to come back into Sphinx pose. You're going to bend into your elbows, bringing them in underneath your shoulders. And if you need a little bit wider space in between your elbows or the elbows a little bit further forward, that might feel okay in your back. I feel most supported with the elbows in close though. And then take your collarbones, open them, feel your heart reaching forward, just like when you were pulling that strap back behind you a moment ago, finding your breath again. Down into the tops of your feet. It'll help to stabilize these next moves. You're going to take your right hand, tuck it in underneath your shoulder. See if you can find cobra pose on that side. Notice if your chest is open still. And then go ahead and bring that right elbow forward again. You're going to take that tops of the feet, press them down. The right elbow presses down. Draw your left hand back in underneath your shoulder. My Sphinx pose didn't change much when I go into the cobra. It might change. I did shift. It might shift a lot. That's okay. Slide it back forward again. And then for fun, we're going to see if you can take both hands at the same time and sneak them back into cobra from here. So opening your chest and then sliding those hands back in. And then bring the elbows forward again. If you press down in the tops of the feet, it does help, and it's fine if you drop down a bit. See if you can go as smooth as possible, right back into cobra. Go! And then lower down. Make a pillow for your head with your hands. Rock your pelvis, your heels side to side. Then take go ahead and roll over onto your side so that you're facing towards the screen. If you find it hard to grab hold of your foot with your hand, grab your strap and then meet us back here. I'm gonna start with the bottom leg bent. I'm laying down on my bottom arm. You can even walk those fingertips out a little bit more. I'm gonna bend into this leg. And then notice probably you came here where both knees are bent and there's a crease at the hip. It's just a function of how we tend to grab this leg. So you're just noticing that that's what happens and then reaching back, see if you can grab onto your foot. Now you might grab onto it, you might loop it up with a strap and then meet us back here. Also notice probably your knee lifted up, which is fine, but now you can see that my knees are no longer extending straight out of my hips. I want to drop that down until I find that place. And just want to pull the heel upwards towards the hip as much as you can, just as much as it feels reasonably good to do so. And you're going to feel your hips pressing forward a little bit more. You can see my knee changed a little bit. It's reaching down towards the bottom foot more. Maybe if your knees feel pretty good today, you can push the foot back into the hand. Just going to roll that top shoulder back more. Exhale. And then gently release the top leg. You're going to send, excuse me, both legs out long. And you're going to flex your feet here. So you're going to push those legs out as strong and straight as you can. Turn your bottom palm up. See if you can put both hands together. Want to lengthen and press out through those feet. Strong legs, strong limbs, maybe still a strong body and breath. Inhale, exhale, and then relax that. And you're going to roll yourself over. I'm going to switch around a little bit here so I can face towards you. I'm going to lay down on the bottom arm, bend both legs to start off with. You're going to take the top leg, you're going to try to catch your foot. So as you do so, noticing if the knee comes up and then dropping it back down, and then lengthening that knee down towards your bottom foot so that you have a little bit more space in the front of your pelvis. Relaxing that top shoulder back, maybe even kicking the foot back a little bit so you create a little bit more space on that front side of the torso. One more breath in. Breath out. Gently release that leg. Take it nice and slow so nothing snaps. And then take the legs, both of them really straight. So you're going to try not to be folded forward in those feet. Be in this long line. Turn the bottom palm up. Place both hands together. And then reach out strong, straight legs, long arms, long spine. One more breath. Relax those limbs. You're going to roll over onto your belly now. And then take your left arm, take it out with like a Y shape. So it's not exactly in line with the shoulder. It's not totally above my hip. It's kind of out at the side here. Palm facing down. Right hand goes in under your shoulder. Look over to the right. And then reach your right leg back behind you. Really going long through that leg. Trying to relax your left shoulder, the left side of your heart down towards the floor. One more exhale. And then over onto your belly and switch sides. So you'll send your right arm out in that Y shape. Left hand goes in, looking over towards the left, relaxing your head and reaching that left leg back long. One more exhale. Rolling over to your belly. And then roll over all the way again. Grab your strap and come onto your back. When you get there, we'll go long straight leg with the strap looped around the bottom of the foot, wrapping the strap around your knuckles and pushing the sole of the foot out so that the leg gets really straight. So we're having that action, feeling maybe that little muscle that's right up above the knee start to fire up. So we're in that more strengthening and engaged place. Take one more breath in. Breathing out. And then relax that leg slightly. You're gonna hold both ends of the strap into your right hand. Place your left hand at your left hip and then open the right leg just as much as you like. You can even roll over a little bit more. And then relax this hip back. Exhaling. And then taking the leg up. Give a little bit more bend into your knee and then see about how far back you're able to bring the leg back towards your face. Don't worry about how far it gets. Just drive it on it. One more exhale. And release your strap from that foot. Wrap up on the other side, sending your left leg out straight. Wrapping the ends of the strap around your knuckles and pushing that leg outwards. Straight as you can. Really pushing the foot outwards into the strap. One more breath. Relax that leg a little bit. It's a little bit softer, not quite as straight. You're going to take the strap and loop it around your left hand, right hand to your hip, and then roll over just as much as you like I'm stuck at the wall here. There we go. You can let this hip roll up, it's okay. You do want to try to relax it back down if you can, if the space finds you. One more breath out. Go ahead and come back up to the center. And then bend the leg a good amount. So you get a little bit more softness there. And then start bringing that leg just as close as it's going to reasonably get towards you. Just letting the stretch open up. Breathing out. Relaxing the grip on your strap. Go ahead and set the feet down. Wiggle your feet out a little bit wider. Reach your arms up and over your head. Oh my goodness. Yawning so much. I'm sorry. Flex your feet. You're going to take both knees over towards the right side. So your left knee, your top knee, reach that away from you. You should feel a nice stretch in the front of the hip. Exhale. Back to the center, taking both knees over towards left side. The right knee is up in the air. The right knee is reaching away from you. Feet stay flexed. Breathing out. Coming back up. And bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Back yourself up to the seat. If you have a hard time sitting up with your feet together and your knees open, grab something to put it underneath your hips. So maybe coming back to your pillow underneath the pelvis, just because it gives the pelvis a little bit of an extra boat forward. We're going to take both arms up here. Feel your heart getting taller and longer. And then pull your elbows to the side and pause there. What we want to do when we open the elbows here is to feel the chest stretching open, not pinching the shoulder blades and compressing the back one eye. Like it feels different, right? So finding that, like that focus, what's the purpose of what I'm doing? What am I trying to accomplish? It's the opening in the chest. And then inhale, reach the arms up again. Exhale, pull them out wide. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, pull it out. Once more. Open the chest. Then take your hands back behind you. Roll your shoulders back. Lift the chest up and forward. Notice if you're coming into that pinchy shoulder blade space again. What can you do to give yourself freedom from that space? And exhale, soften. I'm going to take the legs out wider this time, so slightly different seat. For some of us, it's a little bit easier to sit up straight like this. For some of us, the other one was the easier space. Try to get your legs straight. If it's not working, don't worry about it. Get them straight. It'll be a little bit extra boost. You're going to reach the arms up, and again, pull those elbows out to the side, opening your chest. It's hard to keep the legs straight, honestly. My body doesn't really want to. I'm working on it. One more time. Bring your hands back behind you again. Roll those shoulders back, lift the chest up and forward. Now you might have room to walk the hands further forward, so you get a little stretch on the insides of the legs, chest coming forward. One more exhale. Coming back up. And choose a seat that feels comfortable to you. So you can stay here, fold legs in, crisscross applesauce, whatever seems like a good idea for you. We're going to take eagle arms, and I've been kind of offering lately that you find more of this like V-shaped, like some sort of martial arts fighting sort of place, if wrapping up the hands doesn't serve you. I'm being honest about whether wrapping up the hands serves you, because if it's just like this weird, like finger reachy sort of place and you can't really press anything together, then you're not getting like the full function of the pose and like the reason for being here. Whereas if I do things like this, I don't have to worry about what my hands do. I can really hook into those elbows and reach them forward, and then there's this expansiveness behind the back that, right, rather useful. More round of breath. And releasing that space and wrapping up on the other side. So either having that V shape or the hands wrapped up. With having the hands wrapped up thing has a lot more to do with having lean chest and lean arms and long arms than it does with like even being flexible. Like there's just a limitation to how the body can be put together if you've got certain parts that work certain ways. One more exhale. And then unwind the arms. We're going to come into downward dog before standing. I would like to offer down dog as an opportunity to walk through the heels a little bit, to have a little bit of weight to be bared on the hands. Give yourself a couple of shakes through those fingertips to make sure that the blood is pumping in the hands. We'll all meet standing. You can feel free to take down dog at the wall if that's going to serve you more than down dog at the floor. Come into that space. Make sure you're spreading out your fingertips and pushing from the heart down into your hands. And then curl the toes under and come up downward dog, bending into one knee and then into the other just a couple of times, offering that open space. Once more. And then feet to hands and hands to feet. Bend your knees a whole bunch, which allows the spine to be much more soft. It relaxes a lot of space into the lower back, which is one of the places we have the most struggle in any forward fold. It tends not to actually be the hamstrings. It tends to be the back, right? So giving yourself room there. And then starting to walk your hands up your body, coming up to standing, taking your time to get there, and then also giving yourself the freedom to let the blood and circulation come into a softer space. So you're going to take your hands together, palms together, and then try to bring your thumbs to the back of your head. You're going to have hands open, so maybe holding your hands in a basket behind your head, but if you can get the palms together and the thumbs down by the back of your head and the back of your neck, great. You're going to reach your elbows up and out away from your head, so in whichever variation you've chosen. We're going to lean the weight forward slightly to the toes, so I already have that more open space in the hip rather than sitting back here, seeing that shortness in my back. I want to come forward and open the front. And then let your head press back into your hands or into your wrists, wherever the head happens to be making contact. Breath in, out, coming back up, and releasing your arms down. We're going to come into our pyramid stance, so like warrior one, but with straight legs. So right leg forward, left leg back. You're going to straighten this leg, take your hands to your hips, lift up and open your chest, feel your elbows going back, and keep these two legs very straight. So you want to push down evenly into the feet, and then if you can also organize it, feeling your inner thighs drawing evenly up. And then keeping the feet, both of them strong, both legs strong as you send your heart forward. Leading with the heart space to find that long spine and open chest, and keeping both legs straight and strong. So we're cultivating the power to hold ourselves up in more challenging balancing poses, because there, of course, are quite a few. One more exhale. And then come on back up. So you're going to bend into the front knee. If you can make your stance a little bit longer, go for it. Got my left leg back, so I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to bring it up behind my head. I'm going to hold on to the left elbow and feel those inner thighs lifting up against. That's going to bring that length through the spine. Push into the back foot. Be a little bit wonky. I loved this yesterday. I want to do it every day now. You're going to take a little side bend over towards the right. Yeah. Ooh, exhale. And come back up and release your arms. Go ahead and step forward. See if you can come right up into a medium chair. So bringing your left foot up. Just feeling your hips settle back behind you. Let the spine be long, belly softening back. One more exhale. And then straighten it back up. And take a shift to the other side. So you're going to have your left foot forward and your right foot back. Finding those two straight legs, making sure that you're not on a tightrope, that you've got that little bit of space here. And then hands at your hips and heart opening, and 2 feet pressing down. Did you see that little shift? It went from like my legs are kind of there, and then now they're pressing down. My inner thighs are lifting. You take the heart and draw it forward. One more round of breath. Back up, now bending into that front knee and reaching your arms up. So we're finding that warrior one with that little variation. So you're going to bend your elbow, catch it with your left hand, and then take that side bend up and over. Push to the back foot. That's really going to help to open up that space. Don't worry about how much side bend you get.
get a stretch and be able to breathe there. It's not about the contortion, it's about how it feels. One more breath out. And releasing the arms, step up. Find a little chair pose again. I'm just resting back in the hips, using this as an opportunity to relax the back that was just working with those little bit of back bends that we were doing. Exhale. And then stand yourself up. We are going to go wide legs. Turning the toes over towards the right side. You're going to come in a triangle pose. If you wanted to have a block down here on the inside of your foot, go ahead and grab that. I want to keep the legs really straight. I want you to keep your right or left hand at the meatiness of your upper cheek up here. And you're going to take that meatiness and you're going to kind of try to push it down away from your waist. So you're pushing all of the meatiness downwards. I found this really lovely, like this, kind of like just pressing it down. And then this top shoulder, open it up. Long spine still. Can you press down strong into both feet? Exhale. Draw your belly in, start to lift yourself up, bend into the front knee. You're going to turn the hips just a little bit more forward, just a little bit. You're still pressing this meatiness down. And then take your right arm up. And as much as you're going to press down into this hand, you're going to lift the heart up and away from that space. Really feel both shoulders opening up here. A lot of space in the chest. Inhale. Resting. Exhale. A little break as you move the feet over towards the other side. So all the way over in the left toes, over slightly into the right toes. And then keeping the legs straight, shift that top hip over, slide your left hand down. And it'll leave the right hand at the right hip and you're squishing the meatiness in that cheek downwards. So we're opening up this like your side pants area, you know, like all of this, or the back of the side pants, all of this upper outer hip. So a little bit more space by some manipulation of the tissue. Roll the shoulder back on that top side. Exhale. Draw your belly in. Go ahead and lift yourself up. The dogs are like right here off screen. They keep stretching too. Shadows. Bend into your front leg. I still got this hand here. You're gonna squish the squish down and lift your heart upwards towards that top arm. I've got a little turn of my hips towards the front leg, but just a little one. So I'm trying not to be completely squared because then it becomes a side bend, right? I want to have a little bit of turn forward, so now I can really open up the chest. Push the squish down, lift the heart away from it. Exhale. And then release it. And then go ahead and come on up. You're going to bring your feet back together. A little bit of foot stretching. I'm going to start warming up the feet by taking one foot and just roll around. Trying to get to the toenail side of your foot. So just really doing that thing where you just move those toe bones around as much as you can and then go in the other direction so you get those up. There's different variations. Get every snap, crackle, and pop out of it. And then find the other side. So assume the other leg and then roll foot around. Like that. And come on back. Now this is going to become a little bit of balance work. So if you wanted to have a wall near you, you could do that. If you know that you're going to want a wall around for a dancer's pose, or if you know that you have a hard time grabbing your foot with your hand, you're going to have a strap handy for a dancer's pose as well. But before we do dancer's pose, we do a little bit of different balance challenge. Now, when we do this, I'll show over the back leg. Let's see, black shorts. You can see a little bit better here. Okay, so my normal stance, I have like this little bit of like hinge at my hips, right? Because I'm just gonna like let my abdominals fall out because that's what I do. I'm human and it gets hard to hold these things in all the time. But what I want to try not to do is, I want to try not to do that. I want to try opening up and flattening. So you can see it's a little bit different, a little bit more, and see how my hips are forward. That's what I want to try to do in this. So if you take one foot back, I'm on my toes. If you can go to the top of the foot and you want to be on the toenail side of the foot, go for it. I won't demand that of you. You can be on the tips of the toes, but try not to go here. See, tail going up, pelvis dip forward. You want to feel the hips going up and forward. Stand on this foot, not that one. That one's just reaching. Now we're going to add in the rest of it. You're going to take your hands, interlace your fingers, make Charlie's Angels mudra. And you're going to push your hips forward and then your heart right up to your hands. And still reach that back foot back even though all the weight is on that standing foot. And then take one more inhale. And relax. Exhale. Back up here. Okay, one foot is back. You can be on the toenail side of your foot or you can not. You are able to make that adjustment. Push down to that standing foot, hips forward, heart up. Reach that back foot back. Lengthen heart all the way up towards your hands. One more big breath in. And exhale, relax. Release your feet. As we move into dancer's pose, just being very certain that we're going to find this expansive circular shape, or circular energy in the shape. We don't want to just fold everything into the back to find dancer's pose. We want to find this opening out in all directions. So finding that length in the spine that we've been trying to cultivate. So if you want to grab your strap and just kind of loop it around one of your ankles, you can always take that route and wrap it up more. Do whatever you need to. If you're going to be grabbing a hand directly on leg, you're going to grab the inside of your foot. Why? Because we already talked about on the floor this tendency to have the knee go out to the side, right? If I hold the inside of the foot, it's going to help to like redirect that. So that's what I'm going for, is finding that alignment. And then you're going to feel your inner thighs lifting up, push the standing foot down, your hips and your heart go forward. If you're kicking that foot back into your hand, it's opening your shoulder. You're still rolling both ribs to face forward. Get up taller on your standing leg, more expansive. Feeling the breath. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Release. Love expansive body pose. Vast majority of things that we explore have that intention and having that like growing outwards, not allowing ourselves to be stuck. It's about bursting through connective tissue that keeps us bogged down. It's about increasing blood flow and prana and energy and presence, because if you layer more and more onto it, like you can't help but do anything but be very much here in this place, right? And then of course, heart opening is good for building up our courage and our compassion and our excitement and zest for life. So other side, so you're gonna reach back, you're gonna hold onto the foot with your strap or the inside of your foot with your hand as I fall over, right? And I'm not trying to bend backwards in my back. I'm trying to get up and out with my heart. Push that foot back. Chest lifts up. Keep thinking longer through the spine. Stronger through your breath. One more inhale. Gently release. Set the foot down. Bounce a little bit in your hips. You're going to bring your feet together. And hands at your hips just to sit back in a little chair, just a little. So back in this little chair, feeling some balance in the spine, so a long spine, and loosening some of my upper butt spaces here, squeezing the inner thighs and back. One more breath out. Standing back up. I'm gonna take downward dog at the wall before we go downward. So if you just want to find, if you have like a sturdy bookshelf or something, where you actually do have wall space, it's about hip height. You place your hands about shoulder width apart. Walk your feet back until your hips are above your knees. You can bend your legs or try to straighten your legs. Push out into your hands. Feel your hips reaching back. Again, ideally finding a little bit more length through that lower back and upper butt space. Now, push down into the big toe mounds of your feet and feel your inner thighs lifting and wrapping upwards. So a little bit more intense through those legs. Even if the legs are bent, you can still get those sensations. more exhale. And then look up, start to walk your feet back towards the wall and stand back up. Good. So we're gonna do downward dog and child's pose. Hit downward dog on the floor as much as or as little as you want to. We'll meet in child's pose. If child's pose doesn't work for you, just lay flat on your belly so you're not putting undue pressure onto your knees. So placing the hands down, spreading the fingertips out, walking the feet back, coming into downward dog. Maybe you feel again those big toe mounts pressing up and down and those inner thighs rolling up, heart presses into hands. One more exhale. And then lowering your knees, widen your knees out, toes towards each other, hips back in child's pose, or in puppy dog pose, or in lay down or sit down or not worry about it so much pose. Any of those things, forever and always available. If you like to give a little gliding side to side in the pelvis in your child's pose or in your puppy dog pose, it can be a really nice way to release any tension that we tried so darn hard not to build up, but is sometimes just a necessary evil and a part of our practice that needs to be balanced after heart opening. One more breath out. Start to lift yourself up. And come to a seat. Two legs slid out in front. Again, grabbing something, sit up on it. I find that helpful. Take your right leg and cross it over. If it doesn't cross over easily, you're just going to take the leg and tuck it in. You're going to keep the left toes flexed, lifted, helping you incite the spine to keep this lift. Hold on to this thigh with your left palm, right hand in close, lift up tall. Exhale, soften the belly into the twist. See if you can bring your left ribs a little bit closer towards the right leg and the right leg a little bit closer towards your left ribs. One more breath out. Relax your twist in your leg. And we'll find the other side. So tuck it in. If it crosses over, great. If it doesn't, also great. You're just not gonna try to get it to go into a place it doesn't want to go. Lift your right toes, lift the spine, soften the belly. Find that rotation. One more exhale. Relax your twist, unwind the legs. We're going to scooch down until you come down onto your back. We'll have a couple of things before we end here. So if there's anything you want to have near you for Shavasana, making sure that you've made that available. Go ahead and rock yourself out a little bit into the lower back, relaxes, and your body becomes more acclimated to this new place and space. And then you'll set your left foot down, right ankle up on top of it, and staying here to open the thighs. We're taking your right arm in between the legs, hold the left thigh. Breathe softness into the body with every exhale. Notice if the shoulders have a tendency to reach upwards and to tighten in response to this. Give yourself the freedom to soften. One more breath out. And releasing that shape and wrapping up on the other side. Just take the left ankle up and over, stay there, or reach under and grab that right leg. One more breath. And then releasing both feet down onto the mat. You're gonna take your left leg and cross it all the way over this time. So you've got thigh on top of thigh. And then scooch your hips. You push down in the right foot and kind of scooch the hips over towards the left a little bit. Take your left arm open in that Y shape. So yeah, I'm like up here. I'm not out from the shoulder. I'm not above my head. It's out in a Y shape. And then drop the knees over towards the right. You might stop where I kind of catch myself at the foot there, or it might feel kind of okay to roll over and bring both knees down. I needed to kind of shift my body a little bit. You notice that, yeah? So I've got this arm, it's right here, it's reaching out, and to adjust it so that it lines up as much as possible with this whole line of my torso. You can put your right hand at your left hip and kind of guide the meatiness down as you relax the left shoulder open to the fingertips. One more breath out. And relax your arm, unwind your legs. Come back to the center. You'll have to do a little fidgeting in order to find the center once you get there. And then taking your right thigh, cross it over. Hop your hips over a little bit to the right. Notice you might have to fidget a little bit more once you get there. Let's start with this arm open at that line so you can notice if you're really finding it when you get there. I do have to adjust a little bit. I take the left hand to the right hip and guide the meatiness down away from my waist. Just ever so slightly, just that touch, that contact that makes such a difference. The intention, the sensation, and the communication that we have with the body. One more exhale. Relax your arm, unwind the legs, come back to the center. Wiggle yourself until you are balanced again. Let your knees fall against each other. Place your hands on your body in a way that makes sense to you. Hand on heart and hand on belly is often a good answer, but you get to choose. At this point of making contact, of drawing inwards, of noticing the sensations, be your transition from this deep physical practice where we're so ingrained in how we are moving and why we are moving and in what direction we are moving. And now we come here into this place of just being. Watching the breath, or you have nice soft thoughts, you just kind of doze off for a while, whatever it is in which you are simply soft and easy with yourself. We'll spend these next few moments of rest before wrapping up. If you'd like to slide out into Shavasana, you're welcome to do that. Take whatever you need to let yourself be supported and restful. start to come back to your body. Feeling your breath. Noticing what sensations and responses come up. Maybe reach your arms overhead, like a nice good morning stretch. Beautiful opportunity to just restart the day again. Moving forward fresh from any point you like. And then roll over onto your side, turning inwards in a moment of gratitude for your practice and for having the opportunity to practice together in this way. Start to come up and find your own version of a comfortable seat. Don't worry about what it looks like, just bring yourself up. Excuse me. We'll seal practice by releasing an Om together. Big inhale. Going down to honor the love and light that resides within each of our hearts. Namaste. Hi, everybody. Have wonderful days.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Have good days. Take care. We'll see
Have
ya.
a good week.
Too.
Toodles.